Welcome to this channel. So it is only a few hours after I share my last YouTube on 1960s version of Wing Chun and the 1850 version of Wing Chun are different art. And I have already received tons of messages. Some of our Wing Chun friends is asking me, is the Pinsan Wing Chun 1960 versions or 1850 version? And some of our Wing Chun friends is saying that the Pinsan or slant body or side body Wing Chun is 1850s version. So all sort of stuff. And also there are Wing Chun friends who practice 1960s version of Wing Chun and thinking they are doing the 1850 versions of Wing Chun. So it opened up more things, and here I like to clarify for you what is going on technically. Now again, I'm going to make a statement here. I am here dealing with Chinese martial art culture. I am not dealing with who is the authentic, who is number one, who is whatever lineage, or who is whatever style. This is about traditional Chinese culture. We speak based on evidence of the ancient. Okay? So don't shoot the messenger here. I just show you what it is there. Now, of course, if we practice something, we want to know what it is, right? Otherwise, we don't know what it is. And how can we get result? Another thing is, with the fighting the fake Chinese martial arts or exposing the fake traditional Chinese martial art movement today, we better know what we are doing. If we don't know what we are doing, by the time we get exposed, you look at in the YouTube now, where people like Sun Lutang, the top supposed to be the saint in the traditional Chinese martial art, get exposed by evidence. Okay, Bagua get exposed by evidence. Tai Chi get exposed by evidence. Kong Dong get exposed by evidence in detail with history facts. That will sink everybody if we don't know what we are doing. Okay, that's how serious it is now. So on one hand, we need to know what we can expect from an art. If you practice judo, then you expect what judo gives you. If you practice Western boxing, then you expect what Western boxing giving you. Okay? It is a straightforward stuff. And another thing is, we don't want to run into the exposing fake traditional Chinese martial art track there. So after Xi Xiaodong exposed fake Chinese martial art, now you see the entire thing is a mess. With this kind of situation right now, you can predict that if it is like a high-tech company, that only the CEO can straighten it out, or else the entire thing is gone. So it's like the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping. He's the only guy who can straighten that out, calling everybody, okay, now everybody need the education. This is Chinese culture, this is what it is. Whatever the claim word is not fit to the history, drop it. It's like a CEO in the corporate, hey, straighten the entire thing out. If not, you get exposed, and whether you are proper or not, you're going to get blasted away. Because you don't have evidence, you don't know what are you doing in the past based on history. And other people is using history now. They have data, big data. The newspaper of Chinese, the record of the Chinese newspaper since 1870s until 1950s or 60s. Okay, so this is nothing we want to mess around. We can get wiped out. Nobody is perfect, okay? On the other hand, nobody cares if you are perfect or not. The issue is it has to be straight. It's like in a company again. The CEO will not expect you to be perfect, but expect every employee to be straight, so that thing, if happen, it can be solved, or else it cannot be solved. This is how serious. This is how Chinese martial art culture are now facing. It is a crisis. If you don't do damage control, or crisis control, or prevention, you're going to hop into that, and the entire thing's like a black hole. Okay? Okay. Now, number one thing, because of the educations of traditional Chinese martial arts, not everybody's fault. You know, China is in chaotic situation since 1919, 1919, 100 years ago. And you don't blame everybody on, oh yeah, this is right, this is wrong, or you're cheating. You don't blame that. So we need to make it clear, right? And those who listen to or are following whatever as usual need to know what is proper. So 1960s Wing Chun, 1850s Wing Chun, that is a really significant signature which is differentiate these two groups. It's like differentiate the Apple phone and the Android phone, or the iOS phone and the Android phone. That is a distinction there. You can differentiate that. The 1960 version of Wing Chun, disregard of how it changed. It is always hand techniques like Tan Bong Fo, and the hand techniques support by the body or the structure. That's always the way, okay? That's why it is, I coined the name, calling it as technique-based. It's always, this is Tan Sao, this is Bong Sao, this is Fok Sao, and you have all the hand, this hand can do this, the hand techniques can do that, and that is the first priority. The body is in the structure so that it be able to support the hand techniques. Okay? Now, the 1850s version of Wing Chun is as in the ancient. As soon as it is a short strike, sticking body, short strike, the body and the leg, these combinations is the first priority. This is the body handling. Hand techniques is a subordinate, something which is like in my other video on this Qigong classic. The hand techniques is used in doing the job convenient and effortlessly. So this is not the priority. This is the body. The mobility is the first priority. That is the 1850s of Wing Chun. So anybody who practice on these two arts, as soon as they do their set or they make a move, you can see that. The 1850 is conditioned, their body method condition will be the torso and the footwork handling, which is the plum flower footwork handling, and then the hand, the hand techniques is the subordinate. The 1960s version is always, it based everything on Tan Bong Fu, and then the body has to have the structure to support it. So the 1960s version is thinking they are Tan Bong Fu if they face an opponent. The 1850s version is thinking how I'm going to stick in, and when I stick in, I'm going to use whatever hand techniques to attack and continuous stick, attack, stick, attack, stick, attack. It doesn't think about I want to use this technique, that technique, or I want to use Tan Bong Fu. There's a completely different paradigm. So those who train in 1960 version and those who train in 1850 version, their body signature is different. Those who train in the 1960 version, their hand up, you see their body structure. Those who train in the 1850s version, you see they're always keeping moving or using the plum flower footwork. Okay? So do not make a mistake thinking that basing on the mindset of hand techniques, you can say, oh, the 1850 using a Tan Sao, and I'm in the 1960 version using a Tan Sao too. So because they're both Tan Sao, I'm doing the same with the 1850s. No, because the body, the entire art is different, okay? Which is the first priority. So that's why the 1850s version, I coined a term called, it is a momentum based. It's a dynamic momentum based. Why? Because every step it has to move the body weight. Momentum is mv, mass multiplied by velocity. That is the first priority. For the 1960s is a technique based. I have to use these techniques, I have to have this force to deflect the arm or this force to charge in, strike. So it's a different thing, okay? The body signature, be able to see what it is. It is just like if one is practice judo or one is practice Western boxing. You see, look at the body, you know. So let's not just make equivalent like I'm doing the same. When I'm talking about the seven bowl, the spine, the turning and everything, so I have the same. But what do you practice? Mind power, structure power. Well, it's completely different because it actually conditions your body differently. Okay? So that's how different it is. Now, as for the Pin San or Jing San or the square body or the slant body or side body, it is analogy like this. You have an iPhone, iOS phone. You have an Android phone. Android phone, it can be Samsung, it can be Sony, it can be Huawei. It's still an Android phone. Well, Samsung phone, Sony phone, Huawei phone, they all look different in outside there, and they have different function, but they still based on Android. iOS phone is iOS phone. Okay? So if you look at the Pin San, even though they get sideways or they slant the body, take an angle, their body still not move in. This is sticking at the opponent's body. So if you look at the Pin San's art, the combat is still doing with the hand techniques. It is a technique-based art. It is not a momentum-based art. Okay? To go down to the details, you look at Pinsan version. Some have doing their Xiu Lim Tao. Some have only to do this, the so-called Sam Bai Fat version. You see their version of the Sam Bai Fat, their practice. In my last video, I shared with you that how is the difference between the Sam Bai Fat of the 1850 and 1960. And this slant body type, either they play that part of the Sam Bai Fat, or they have a set, or so forth, so forth, so forth. They are using the 1960 versions of platform. It is a technique base. It is a square body base when you play that. Okay? And also, the arm is in front of the body. So be it Jingsan or Pinsan, it is the 1960s version base. Furthermore, if you look at they play this hook hand, this ngao sao, which is everybody call it hin sao today, they do the ngao sao this way, or ngao sao this way, the ngao sao this way. While the 1850s, the ngao sao will be doing this way. The elbow is not down there, because if I do ngao sao like that, the punch is really strong. I ngao like that, it's going to go into my body. So it's going to go like that, let it pass. So in other words, is the ngao sao of 1850 is let whatever it is strong that you will not be able to handle pass. It doesn't matter it is a strike, a punch, or a kick, or front kick, you just go in. Okay. In fact, it's using a lot in the ngao sao is for the kick, and you cannot stand here, ngao his leg, and try to kick him. No, the minute you ngao, you're already in. Swipe right away in. Okay, that's how the 1850s. So, as I pointed out here in Wing Chun Restriction, look at my hand and my body, the before and the complete. However, if we don't know about there exists the techniques base and momentum base, then you're not paying attention to the body. Then you miss it. Okay? Another thing can be, make an example. The 1960 versions of the wooden dummy will be either pulling him from this distance or pushing him from this distance. Pulling or pushing in this distance. In this distance, you're pushing him or pulling him. Example. Everybody know that your wooden dummy, the first few moves, you have this. Right? That's pulling him, right? The 1850s version is not. The 1850s version is you walk in. So the 1850s version is like judo. You walk in, you walk into him, you don't pull him in. You walk into him, you turn him, you sweep him or trip him to drop him. And also the 1815 version do not push him away. Many of we look at the wooden dummy is striking like that. The sticking body is I want my body to get in so that my body do the job to press him. And as you see that here, the knee is in here the hip is in here, the shoulder is in here. Not using the hand to push the body to support. Again, that become hand techniques, body for push. Pull, hand techniques, body. The 1850 version is your body get in. That's why it's called sticking body. Okay? So in the 1850 versions, as in past video tape, YouTube I have shared, the first thing you need to be able to shoot in, fill. The second thing is fill in. Shoot in, fill in. Okay? And then the multi-directional force, which is a force flow, no longer structure or geometry or triangle shape. And then the recycling of momentum. The four keys of the 1850s Wing Chun characteristics. Sticking body, short strike. Now, the sticking body, short strike, I just tell you for all of this, I don't define it. It's not my opinion. It is in Shaolin Short Strike Classic and the link to General Qigong's writing. So you see now, what is the 1850s, what is the 1960s, what is the square body, the slant body, and the sticking body. They are different stuff. And you know that sticking body or square body, they both based on the 1960s platform. It's like a Samsung phone and a Sony phone, even though they look different, they're based on the Android platform. While the 1850s is like analogy to the iOS Apple phone. They are different. Now, if without education, we will not be able to identify this. And we're keeping looking at techniques. And also, we are not be able to read the ancient classic. The ancient classic write it clearly, black and white. Torso and this leg is the first priority. The arm is the second priority. As in General Qigong, this is body method. It has to fulfill the body method. And then the hand has to fulfill with this and the convenient and effortless, or nature or by instinct. So like in other video I shared that slapping. Well, you move in, you slap him with this hand. He took away this hand come over here. He matched around this hand, the elbow come from here. So you see, you slap with this angle. He take away, you go here. You see, I walk away here now. Okay, slowly, I share with you, okay? So if I get inside here, I slap his face. He move, of course he's gonna struggle, move my leg. I move in here, slap in from here. Of course he's gonna struggle. I turn in here, slam the elbow from here. That is sticking body short strike. This hand technique is called Yan Guang Shou, the round, light hand. This is a short strike typical techniques. It exists in 1560s. This is the art of Wen Jia Quan within the Shaolin, within the Qigong Classic. And the expert or the guy who practiced this Wen Jia Quan, this Yan Guang Shou, is General Tang Sunzhi. General Tang Sunzhi have written a classic prior to General Qigong. It's called Wu Pian. Okay, if you read my book, Wing Chun Matrix, the Wu Pian, the part of Wu Pian is there, and Tang Sun Zi is mentioned there. Okay? So we know, we have all the data now. And also, Tang Sun Zi is like the guy who inspired Qigong on his strategy of fighting. This is all history. So the Yan Guangshou is go in first, down attack, counter attack, changing attack, changing attack. The entire body is moved. So that's why it is, I coined the term momentum based. It's not hand techniques, this and that. It's not pay attention to this. Just go here, slap him, going in. Okay? So there is the Yan Guangshou of General Tang Sun Zi, or Wen Jiaquan. Wen Jiaquan is listed in the General Qigong 1560s writing. So this is what I like to share with you. Don't put anybody in fault, because we are solving problems. We are creating problems. Don't put anybody in fault, because we are solving problems, we are not creating problems. It is not about who is the best fighter, who is the most authentic. Human world all evolved. With the chaotic situation of China for past 100 years, everything can get bent out of shape. Okay? When you don't have the education, you don't understand it, we speculate on it, we give our opinion, and then we promoting it. That is how it ends up mostly like what Xi Xiaodong and his people who expose the fake martial art show. Are they right? Correct? Yes. Because you no longer follow whatever the ancient Chinese. So to defend or to make the traditional Chinese martial arts solid, you don't need to fight Xi Xiaodong. What you need is educations. And that's why this channel is for educations. All those books I wrote is for educations. Because if you have the education and your education is based on ancient and scientific and based on today's sports science, Olympic science, today's fighting arts, nobody can say you are fake. We know exactly what it is. We know the pro and the con. And so is the 1850s version of Wing Chun have a weakness? Sure. How easy is to train, to shoot in, and with all this agile footwork or momentum handling? How easy is that? Compare with, this is the techniques, a block, this is a punch. Now, of course, to learn the techniques, as usually people say, san sao. If your opponent is untrained, common people, it works. But if your opponent is like General Qigong facing the Japanese pirate, it will never work. Because this technique has to back up by your momentum. So this is the reality. Don't make anybody wrong. This is how things change, how things evolve. Nobody have a handling on it. But we have a choice. We can choose to know what it is. We can solve the problem. We can progress. And we don't have to fight, hey, you're number one fighter, I'm number one fighter. I'm going to prove to you my traditional Chinese martial art is real, not fake. Well, what to prove? That's why I always ask our Chinese friend who is into the exposing the fake. I tell them that if Chinese martial art is fake, General Qigong is fake, then today your last name is not Wang Lim Chan, it will be Japanese last name. Musashi, Oyama, no longer Wang Lim Chan, okay? So do you think that traditional Chinese martial art is fake? Fact is a fact. Nobody can change the history. And the same with technical facts is technical facts. Android phone and iOS phone, they are different phone. Nobody can change it. Like changing the camera. I have 5 cameras, eyes, head, or I have a 6 camera head. You have 2 camera head. It doesn't change the Android platform. So this is to share with you. Hope that this making everything clear, and I love to see everybody progress with the educations.